Hey guys, if you're watching this video, it is because you are a potential car buyer. So if you want to learn more about the process and get a few tips and tricks while you're doing it, stay tuned. Okay guys, so I know that the car buying process can be daunting and scary, especially if you're new to adulthood like myself. So I actually spent a ton of time learning about the process in painstaking detail. I read books, I searched the internet, I asked friends, and I just want to kind of share what I found with you guys to maybe make the process a little bit easier. So really, to start this process, you have to kind of consider your options. It's hard to buy a car if you don't even know what you need or want. I personally did this by looking at my friends and family's vehicles. We have a wide variety between trucks, cars, Jeeps, sedans, SUVs, anything in between. So it really helped me to figure out what I liked and didn't like. Kind of also went into the internet, searched certain things that I liked and didn't like. And I realized that for myself personally, I need something with good gas mileage. The first car that I actually bought, I went more for room because of a trip that I took from my house all the way to my college with my Christmas tree sticking out of my two windows in 30-degree weather. That kind of really helped me start my search, figuring out where I can get the best bang for my buck in gas and in the car. It also really helped me kind of figure out like what I liked and I didn't necessarily like in some cars. Like some had really loud road noise that I wasn't a big fan of, but then I also really enjoyed the little things on the mirrors that tell you if someone's in your blind spot. So just considering your options, kind of figuring out what you want, what you don't want, what you need, what you don't need, it really just kind of helps you narrow things down and will help you as the process goes further if you kind of have a general idea of what you're looking for. Through this process though, I also came upon so many different words and lingo that I just did not know. I just don't speak car, but thankfully my dad was able to kind of help me. So here's a few words that you might need to know. Transmission. The transmission takes the power from the engine and disperses it to the wheels. Automatic transmission. This is a car that all you have to do is put the car into drive and it will go. You do not have to manually switch the gears in your car. Manual transmission. This is a transmission that you have to change the gears yourself. You do this through a foot pedal called the clutch and a lever that has the different gears on it. I put pictures on the bottom for you. Safety rating. This indicates how safe people would be inside the vehicle if it crashed. Four-wheel drive. All four wheels of the car are receiving power from the engine. The driver chooses when four-wheel drive is activated or not. This does make it easier to drive in less than ideal conditions. Now you have all-wheel drive. Just like four-wheel drive, all wheels are receiving power from the engine, but unlike four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive is controlled by the vehicle. Your vehicle turns it on when it suspects less than ideal conditions for you. Front-wheel drive. This is where the power of the engine is only transmitted to the front wheels. These cars get better gas mileage. Rear-wheel drive. This is where power of the engine is only transmitted to the back wheels. This allows you better control of the car compared to four-wheel drive. Traction control. This is a safety feature that ensures you have good traction between your car and the road. This helps avoid accidents whenever conditions are less than ideal. Mileage is how many miles the vehicle gets per gallon. The more miles you get, the better. Odometer. This is on the dashboard of the car. This just keeps track of the total amount of miles that the vehicle's been driven. V6 engine. This is a vehicle with 6 cylinders. You might be like, what is a cylinder? Cylinders are the things in an engine that gives your car more power, which makes it go faster. Cars can have anywhere from 4 to 12 different cylinders. V8 engine, and those are vehicles with 8 cylinders in their engine, and then they have more power than a V6 would. So there you go. So while looking at cars that are way out of my price range, I realized I don't even have a budget. So before you can really dive into anything, you have to know how much you can spend. Thankfully, my mother was able to help me with this. She told me that generally you want your debt to equal about 45% of your income at the most. But as I kind of looked more, a lot of websites and things suggested about 20% of your monthly income. So I was able to kind of create a budget off of that, which I'm going to show you right now and walk you through my process. Okay guys, so now I'm going to kind of show you how I got my budget. I took my monthly income at the top, which was about $2,400, give or take, and then I times that by 0.20, which is 20%, and I got $480. So that was the total monthly that everyone recommended spending. So then I wanted to include all expenses in that. That way I wasn't hit with just so much expenses all at one time. So I kind of added up everything that I thought it might cost monthly and accumulatively, and I came out to about $170. So I subtracted the $170 by $480, and then I got $310 from that, and I times that by 12, and I got $3,720. And then I know that I've already done my research like I suggested, and I know that financing is my best option, and I was looking to finance for 5 years. So I just took that yearly total and times it by 5, and that's where I got the $18,600. And that is what I wanted to do, because I wanted to figure out the total amount of money that I could afford to allocate per year. So that's how I got my budget. Whenever determining your budget, you're going to want to keep in mind whether you're paying in cash or financing your car. Both are super great options, but if you're like me, fresh out of college, and you don't have cash saved up, financing is the way to go. Obviously obviously with paying cash, that's where I got Pash, you are gonna be saving money because you don't have to pay any interest or any loan fees. But I just didn't have the money at the time, so I looked more into my financing options. Hey guys, just jumping on real fast. While I was editing, I realized I probably just need to make a separate video for financing, so I went on ahead and did that. I'm linking it up top, so if you want to watch it, just go ahead and click on it. Whichever route you end up going with, you're going to either start by getting the cash or getting pre-approved. Knowing your financing options will allow you to get a much better deal in the end, and it shows the buyer or the seller how serious you are about buying the car, and it will make them sometimes a little more willing to work with you and get you a better deal. After deciding how much you can comfortably allocate and getting your financing and all your budget in order, now it's time to really figure out what car is best for you. The first thing you're going to need to do is decide whether you want to go new or used. New cars are a great option. They generally cost a little bit more money, but you are the first drivers. You hardly have any, or you don't really ever have to worry about any mechanical issues. You have warranties, which is where either the dealership or the car manufacturer is saying you don't have to worry about mechanics. If something does go wrong, we will take care of them for a certain amount of time or miles. Used cars are also great as well because they have, generally they're cheaper, but they do have a little more mileage on them. You just gotta really figure out what you're looking for, what's best for you. So after doing that, you can really dive into the details. After putting in what you're gonna want and what you're gonna need and your budget, you're still gonna have so many options to choose from. I would just look at all of them, really read reviews on them to figure out kind of which one's the best one, if they have mechanical issues, anything like that. And I would get it narrowed down to your top 5 choices. From there, you're going to be able just to dive even deeper. Like, are there any warranties on all these? Are there any recalls, which is where it's a common issue that a lot of people are having. It will also allow you to kind of get a better understanding of your budget later on if you have it narrowed down to a certain amount. So I would suggest 3 to 5. I got mine narrowed down to 2 of them personally. Okay, so by now you've selected a few different options of cars that are awesome, obviously. And you should start looking on insurance for these makes and models. If you already have insurance, then you don't really have to worry about this. But if this is your first car, you have to have it. It's illegal to drive off the lot without insurance. Your dealer will not allow you to do it. If you're buying from somebody that's not a dealership, they should not allow you to do it because it is illegal. So you just want to go ahead and start this process because it does take a few days to get your policy in order because you have to give the insurance company your driver's license, your social security number. They just have to kind of process all that information and get you in the system. So I would suggest definitely starting this as soon as possible. Also because your insurance depends on the kind of car you got. After I bought this one, my insurance increased $50 because I got a new car. You really just want to go ahead and look at your insurance. That way you can kind of plan your budget around how much your insurance is going to cost. Go ahead and do that. Get your policy. You can have it where it starts the day you buy your car. And then while at the dealership, when you're filling out your paperwork or buying from someone else, you just kind of call the insurance company and be like, hey, this is my VIN number or my vehicle identification number, which is different for every single vehicle. And you just give it to them, they get it in the system, and wham, bam, chicken and ham, you got insurance. It's good to go ahead and start looking at the worth of the cars that you've kind of got it narrowed down to. It's a really good negotiating area because if you go to a dealership, you have the fair market price, so you can just kind of negotiate off of there depending on the quality, the miles, anything in between. Kelley Blue Book is a great option. It is actually the one that most car dealerships tend to use. So I'm going to show you how to use it. So let's do that real fast. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is going to go to the website. It's kbb.com, and then you choose price new or used. You select the make and the model. In this case, I'm going to do the Honda Civic I was looking at. And then you're going to choose the year. Mine is a 2016. And then you choose the category option. I was looking at the sedan. And then you choose which sedan option, which it will say on the website. And then you can go through and even go deeper into like the colors, the packages, everything like that. And then I was looking at certified dealerships, so I got the certified car price. And as you can see, the green is your fair market price, and that's what you can generally base everything off of. And if you go to the very top, you're actually able to edit the mileage and get an even more in-depth total. So it was higher mileage, so it lowered the value just a little bit. But yeah. Here you're going to want to start calling dealerships, seeing actually if the dealerships will already start working with you over the phone. It kind of gives you a general idea of how the negotiating process is going to go a little bit later. And this is just now a good time to shop around. Now, why shop around, might you ask? You want to do this just because some dealerships might offer different deals. So one, you might be able to get extended warranties, which means if you have mechanical issues, then they'll cover these specific ones. It really just depends on what the specifics of the extended warranty is. Plus, some dealerships might just have a way better deal, like one might mark up the car that you're looking for by $3,000, where one might only mark it up by $1,000. So shopping around just really helps you make sure you get the best deal possible for yourself. When shopping around, it's also good to see if you can go on ahead and figure out the history of the car. Carfax is a really good website for this, or the dealerships generally have the Carfax. This just tells you like how well the car was taken care of, kind of gives you a general idea of the lifespan of the car. It kind of just gives you details about the title and stuff, which a title is what says that you own the car, but it tells you what kind of title it is. The three main types is clean, salvage, or rebuilt. You want to kind of keep that in mind though, because sometimes insurance on a rebuilt or a salvage title is higher, or sometimes you might not even be able to get insurance at all on rebuilt titles. So you just kind of want to look into that and kind of keep that in mind whenever going through this process. And now it's actually time to start test driving. It is recommended that you test drive all of your candidates on the same day just to make sure that you can equally compare and contrast. It also says to take a friend with you. That way, if you get caught up in the moment, they can see things that you didn't like or didn't do. Just a little PS. I already bought my car, so my back seat's kind of messy whenever you view this next part. But I'm going to go pick up my friend now, and I will see you guys in just a little bit. My friend that I chose is Clarke. You guys might be asking why Clarke, because I ask myself that every time I hang out with him. But it is because he has 20 years experience in this industry, whether it's selling cars or buying cars or anything in between. And he agreed to come with me and kind of show us what we need to look for. Ready?
Ready.
Let's do this. The first thing that we should know is what we should be looking out for whenever we are test driving it.
Well, when you're test driving a car, we'll get to the mechanical stuff in a minute, because obviously the mechanical stuff is important. But the first thing is, does the car have any little ticks or any little funny things that irritate you? Because if you notice something while you're test driving, you might want to think about, is this going to bother me in the future while I own the car? Is it going to get worse? Is it going to be something that just irritates me?
Yeah. I had one of those. It just kept telling us to take a coffee break like every 5 minutes. And I was like, this thing is so annoying. I cannot do this. And we just turned around and took it right back. I was like, no thanks.
That car didn't know you didn't need any more caffeine.
Yeah, true.
Driving a car, is it comfortable? Does it fit you as a driver? Does it have any mechanical issues that you notice? Noises, sounds,
Okay.
Shifting problems, anything that you would feel or see in the car that might, make you want to think twice about buying it.
Do you think this car fits me?
I think this car fits you.
We'll suggest. taking their car to get inspected? Do you suggest that, or how does that really work?
Well, I think that depends on what you're buying. If you're buying a new car from a franchise dealer, that's probably unnecessary because the car comes with a warranty. It's brand new, and taking it to a mechanic is going to be a waste of your time and the mechanic's time. If you're buying a used car, then that's a different ball of wax. But you want to know that you know the mechanic or you trust the mechanic, number one, because it's not in their best interest to always tell you the car's good or bad.
Yeah.
So you want to know who you're dealing with, and then you're not probably going to do that on the initial test drive. You'd probably find a car you like, talk to the dealer, call your mechanic, set a time, and bring the car by. But I think it's always a good idea to have someone mechanical if you're buying a used car, check it out. Again, like the car we're in now, still has warranty.
Mm-hmm.
So that's less of a factor. If you have a problem, you'll be able to run it to the dealership and have them check it out. But no reputable dealer is going to have a problem with you taking the car to have it checked out. If they do have a problem with that, it's because they're afraid of what they're selling.
Okay, so Clarke brought it to my attention that we are going to need to check the interior and exterior to see if there is anything.
We're looking for cosmetic blemishes,
Yes.
and we're looking for any signs of paint work or
Yes.
body work that's been done to the car. Not that that's necessarily, a deal breaker, but if it's had hail or anything like that. So we're going to look at those things, and we're going to give you some tips on how to check for that.
Yep. Here we go.
So on the outside of the car, some cosmetic stuff I like to look at. But this isn't cosmetic, but your tires. Looks like you ran over a bird, Jaden.
Aw.
Good job. Make sure you got enough tire tread if the car's been used. Obviously, if it's a new car, that's not going to be a problem. One thing I like to do is check for paint work, and an easy way to check for paint work is to feel up under this area right here, and if it's rough and feels sanded, you know there's been paint work. If it's smooth, then you know the hood hasn't been painted. And you can kind of...
So now you found the car that you're wanting to buy, and it's time to start negotiating. You test drove it, you love it, this is your car. Now our ultimate goal is to save you money and get this car into your budget. I'll be honest with you guys, I went to do a mock negotiation with Clarke and it did not turn out, but he did give me some advice, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here now so you can see Clarke's car buying tips. Here we go.
So I got a tip for you here. You really don't want to disclose that you're trading anything or negotiate anything based on your trade-in until you've negotiated the price of the car first. This is a good time to interject that we don't really want to negotiate monthly payment. We want to negotiate total price of the car. Car tip number 3. It's good to have some data to back up why you're making an offer.
Okay.
For instance, you've got resources out there on the internet that will give you car values so that you can say, well, Kelly Blue Book is only 14.4 on this particular car. And that gives you some ammunition. So if you're driving cars, there's lots of cars out there and you don't have to buy it.
Now that the negotiations are done, it is time to sign paperwork. When doing this, just remember, you don't really need anything else that's going to cost you an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Ask questions. Ask so many questions. Anytime that I saw something I did not know, I did not understand, I asked questions. My car dealer probably hated me because I had 1,000 million quadrillion questions. But also, whenever you go to actually start signing the paperwork right beforehand, it's a good time to go ahead and call your insurance and send that VIN in. And once all of that is done, you can officially leave in your new car. I am at the DMV right now, and I'm gonna run in here real fast and register my car, and I'll let you know how it goes here in a minute. I officially own my car. A few things that I realized I needed whenever I went in was you have to pay your sales tax, so you need money, but then you also need your title, a proof of inspection on your car, a proof of insurance, property taxes from the year prior. It's nice to look up and see what's needed in your state and go unprepared, because I would have been in and out a lot faster if I would have went in prepared. Okay, so now the car is officially yours and you can fully enjoy your purchase. I hope this answered all of your questions and kind of give you a better understanding of the process, what you need, how to do it, and you can get a car that you love just like I did for a good price. And hopefully you guys stay tuned as I kind of figure out my way through adulthood and hopefully get to kind of help you guys through it too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you love me, tell your friends about it. If you hate me, still tell your friends about it so they can decide for themselves. I would love for you guys all to comment so I can interact and maybe even actually ask my mom some questions since I plug her in every single video.com. I will link it somewhere on this page. Clarke made a printable sheet full of his tips and tricks that you can take with you when going to the car dealership. Isn't he just the best? But yeah, so go check that out. And until then, see ya!